Hi, this is Sweet June. Hoping everybody's doing great. I'm relaxing in my chair right now. I've been having some I think I put my back out again. Having some very bad back pain right now. All day yesterday. I've been, back has just been jacked up. So I'm in my chair with my massage pad. Just, it's late. It's pretty late. I'm hoping it's all is well with everyone. Hoping everybody is doing great and staying healthy and safe. I don't know if you guys heard about the tragedy apartment building collapse in Miami, Florida. Um, wow, I don't know if it's been all over the news, so I'm sure you guys have heard about it. It is terrible. It is horrible. I've been steady watching the news coverage on it since it happened. I know when I first seen it, I don't know about you guys, but when I first seen it, I could not believe my eyes. I literally could not believe what I was watching. When I first seen the building collapse, I literally could not believe my eyes. I could not believe what I was seeing. You know how you're watching something but you can't literally believe what you're seeing. I just could not believe that. It was so hard to believe that something like that could happen. I've been steady watching news coverage on it, been praying. Prayers been going out to the families, and what I'm praying for is that they find more people alive. Um, but it's not looking good. Um, what I don't understand is, um, and let me know in the comment section if you guys are wondering the same thing, but how could something like this happen? Is what I don't understand. How could something like this happen? I don't know. As long as I've been on the earth, I've never heard of anything like this happening in the United States. Usually, when a building collapses, it's usually a terrorist attack or um, some type of like a tornado or a hurricane or something like that. When you hear buildings collapsing, it's usually a reason why they collapse. Like a tornado or terrorist attack. Um, but for a building to just up and collapse out the blue, all out the blue, just up and collapse, that's unbelievable. It's just hard to wrap your mind around it. It's like, how could something like this happen? And they were saying that allegedly, I'm gonna say allegedly, they were saying that there were structural issues with the building, and they were trying to make repairs and trying to inspect it, and um, I'm gonna say allegedly, but my thought is if these people knew that this building was like this, if they knew that this building had some structural issues and some issues that needed to be addressed, and they didn't address them in a timely manner, they are blood guilty. They are blood guilty. They are blood guilty. All those people's blood is on their hands. And all I could think about is greed. It's just greed because it's condos that they sell to people, that they rent to people. And if there were issues and problems in this building that needed to be addressed and they didn't address it in a timely manner, that's greed. That's greed. You putting money over people's lives. And that's serious. So I just, and they said there was another building that was built around the same time. I guess this was the south apartment, and then they have another one that's east. It was built around the same time. Same architects and all that. It's just, structurally the same as that one. And those people are worried and they're concerned about that structure. So, as they should be, because I would be concerned as well. If it was me, I would be out of there. I would be out of there if it was me. I would be out of there. I would not waste any time. I would be out of there. At the end of the day, your life is more important than any amount of money. Um, but I know I looked it up on Google Earth. I went to Google Earth and I looked up the building, and those buildings are literally right next to the ocean. I mean, they're right on the ocean, and I know everybody that can afford it, wants to get a beautiful place by the ocean. They want those ocean views, and I get it and I understand it, but anytime something is built next to a large body of water like that, by a beach, you gotta make sure the foundation. You kind of have to wonder if the foundation is something that close to a beach and a ocean. This is not a lake; it's an ocean. You kind of have to wonder if the foundation is going to be stable to build something that close. Because when I looked it up on Google Maps, it's like, or Google Earth, it's like the condos is like right there, and then there's a beach in front of them, and then there's an ocean. The ocean. So it's like literally the condos were like literally within walking distance. They could literally walk from the condo to the ocean. The building was that close. All those buildings along there are that close to the ocean. It's literally you could walk from the building to the ocean if you look it up on Google Earth. So they're very, very close. So anytime something like that is built so close to specifically, especially an ocean, you kind of have to wonder if the ground is going to be stable, you know? I mean, because I know everybody, they get a little bit of change. They want to get a beautiful place by the, ocean, get ocean view. Who doesn't like a beautiful ocean view? I mean, but, I've always been leery of high rises, I always said if I moved to a major city, if an event, or I don't know, if I lived in a major city like New York or L.A. or something like that, um, I always said I wouldn't want to fool with them high rises, because for one thing, I don't do heights. Although I got mixed emotions because when you look at the views, like because I like to watch a lot of videos. I watch a guy on here. His name is Cash Jordan, and he shows a lot of apartments in New York. And I'm a big real estate buff. I love real estate, so I love looking at real estate in different cities like New York and L.A. and stuff like that. And then I've seen some videos of where they had buildings and or apartments in high or condos and high rises in New York and stuff like that. And I gotta admit, the views are absolutely beautiful. I must admit, the views are beautiful. But then when I'm thinking how high up they are, it just kind of makes you wonder. New York, the buildings is a way more structurally sound probably in New York than it would be in Florida by an ocean. But some of those are by the water as well. So, I mean, I always said that I don't know if I want to fool with living in no high rise. Because when I did live when I lived at an apartment complex and I was on the ground floor, but there was some issues. This apartment complex that I lived at, it happened to be by a river, you know, and they winded up tearing it down because there was a lot of mold issues. I had mold issues in my unit, There was a lot of mold issues and things like that. In this apartment complex where I used to live was by a river, and it was on a slope. It was built like on a slope. So even where I used to live was some major issues. They had to wind up telling everybody to vacate. Code compliance had to tell everybody to move out. Well, this was years after I had moved out, and because there was mold issues all over, and they winded up tearing the whole complex down completely. It is no more. It does not exist anymore. So I know when I lived there, I was having some mold issues in my apartment that I lived in. So, and this was by a river. And it was built, these apartments where I lived were built like on a slope. So any apartment, any buildings that's built next to a body of water, you gotta make sure the foundation is structurally sound. And because I know my unit that I lived in, because I lived on the ground floor, and they had to get hire the waterproofing company. I had a 2-bedroom apartment. It was just me and my oldest son at the time. His room flooded out first. They had to hire the waterproofing company to come in and waterproof the room, and it was quite an ordeal. I remember it was quite an ordeal at the time. So they fixed his room, and then not too long, a year or so later, my room flooded out. And at the time, I had this water bed, and um, the wooden base on the water bed molded really bad, caused me a lot of respiratory issues. It was horrible. It was terrible. I'm so young at the time, not knowing my rights, and I didn't. I should have pressed the issue further, but I didn't. I didn't have renter's insurance. Um, but being so young at the time, not really knowing my rights and stuff like that, didn't really look into it as further as I should have. You know what I mean? And but later years, many years after I moved out, it was because later on I moved to a townhouse in that same complex, and my basement flooded out. So that place was having issues for years. So finally, it became a issue across the board with all of them. And the code compliance had to come in and just shut them down. And they made everybody move, and they tore that whole complex down. So, and these, like I said, these were by a river. And so you have to wonder about any structure that's built by a river, or any structure that's built by a large body of water like that, a river, lake, ocean, particularly an ocean. You kind of have to wonder the ground underneath. Is it going to be stable? You know, that's something they might have to look into in all cities like LA, other parts of Florida. You know, that's something that they need to look into across the board, because that's just crazy. So I just had to come on here and my heart and prayers. I've been steady watching coverage about it. I just can't believe it. They pulled one young man out of there. So far, it's been 5 people that was confirmed dead. So my heart and prayers go out to the families, and I pray that they find some other people in there alive. It's just so sad. So let me know. Hit me up in the comment section what you think about this, and how. What were your thoughts if you seen the news coverage on this? Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts were on it, and I just had to uh, let you guys know what my thoughts were on that. Okay, be sure to hit the subscribe and like and share. Until the next video, peace and love. This is Sweet Jim.